Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome back to Batmania. Today, predictably, we tackled the sequel to Batman.
You all saw this coming.
Batman Returns! This is not
balls here.
This is one of those movies that I don't go back to very often. I can't tell you the last time I saw this. It was probably the commentary years ago with, honestly, either Vince or Manos. I can't even remember who I did the commentary with. It's been so long now. But
and I have much less vivid childhood memories. I'll talk a little bit about some stuff I remember, but I don't know when I see this as a kid, because originally I thought I didn't see this as a kid at all. Like, my mom was like, yo, you're not watching that one. But I have enough childhood memories that I must have seen it as a kid.
I saw it in the theater, of course. I was always kind of ambivalent toward it. I never really had my feelings about it figured out. It was just obligatory. It's Batman, so I like it, but of course I never really put my finger on it. And since then, I have come to more of a specific conclusion of I don't really care for this movie. I don't think it comes together. I don't think it works. And then I've been having new experiences with '89. And it's going to be very interesting looking at this now that I've allowed myself to get more critical of that movie, because a lot of the complaints, while I still love '89, that I made about that, I can throw at this.
I don't know if it's any less or more coherent than '89.
Yeah.
There's just something about '89 that works. That there's a charm to '89 that this doesn't have. So for me, those things are more glaring. And part of it is I hate Tim Burton, and this is a Tim Burton movie.
And '89 is starting to become a Tim Burton movie, but it still feels like more of its own thing.
Because this is the model. This is what he will do for the rest of his career and never grow or change as an artist.
Yeah.
It is this. '89 is not that. '89 is not blacks on whites. '89
but the problem is that's not exactly its fault. Like the thing is, you don't like it partly because of all the things that came after it. You know, if you never made a movie like that again,
it's true. It
would be as difficult to
that might be true, but I don't live in that world, and I can't know that.
It's hard to separate those things. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of a reader experience I'm going to have with it this time.
Inebriated,
as we're talking.
For the pain, as AVGN would say.
See, I'm not so worried about that. Like,
no, it's not. I don't want to say it's not. I want to say it's not an awful movie, but I don't know if I actually believe that. It's not a painful movie.
Yeah,
I don't like this movie, but it's not hard to watch.
I mean, I always felt like, compared to '89, it was kind of mean-spirited.
It's nastier.
Yeah, but then I go back and I look at '89, and there are sparks of what could have been humanity, but it's not. It really is still kind of style over substance, with some really clever lines of dialogue and a little bit of glimmers of potential heart here and there, and this is still as much of, kids playing with action figures as at least that third. I think the thing with Batman Returns is it is third act of '89 all the way through.
That's fair, I think. Well,
maybe that's the issue with it. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, now we're just reviewing this without having looked at it. If you want to watch Batman Returns with us, you can get out your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it. Make sure and get it past all the menus to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play whenever I say now. You can say it with me if you want to. Whenever I say now, and we will watch Batman Returns together. And
I can do the old thing I used to do around now. We do it now.
I'm just waiting. He's the seagulls into Finding Nemo. Anyway.
Now, Silent Bob.
Here we go.
Joke you don't get. Never mind.
Let's jump right into it, shall we? Everybody, please press play right now!
It's hard to sync up.
It's difficult.
We looped it.
You know what, though? It used to be harder to sync up when we didn't live in the same place.
Our movies weren't actually synced.
Much harder.
Oh, snow! I've never seen that in a Tim Burton movie before.
Okay.
Although I hadn't.
Are you going to do that the whole time?
I'm not.
Because...
Oh, look, blacks and whites. I've never seen that in a Tim Burton movie. No, I'm done.
I like that Cobblepot has the C on top of the sign like Wayne always has the W.
Yeah. This is interesting casting. I don't understand it, because he's a way bigger deal in, was it 1992 than he is now, or...
It's just a fun cameo because that was the first thing Tim Burton did. And people like to put cameos.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about the fact that he did Big Top, or not Big Top. He did Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a movie.
That's him doing Tim Burton a favor. I'm sure.
Sure, I didn't even think of that. And his wife is someone too. Yes.
In this?
Yeah. No.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
I want to say she's someone, but I might be wrong.
She's got the Martha Wayne pearls. I'm sure that's on purpose.
Like, I don't care how ugly your kid is, you don't put him in a crate, right?
Generally speaking, I would say no.
Oh, well, maybe if he's doing stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That's why. There's a reason. We just paid attention.
This is why I don't have kids, by the way.
We'd know.
I'm afraid of something like this happening.
Pee Wee Herman, I can't think of his name right now. He has aged remarkably well.
Yeah. Yeah, he has.
And it was fun that they made him Penguin's dad in Gotham. I felt like they stretched that stuff real hard, and
they at the same time didn't give him anything to do.
Yeah, exactly. He was there a while, but it was real predictable.
I feel like those two that just passed them are a cameo, but I might be wrong. You know, it's nice that the water isn't frozen in the winter.
That's a good point.
See, if they hadn't thrown the whole thing
it's a comic book, Eric. Physics just work differently.
If they hadn't thrown the whole thing and they just dumped the baby, no movie.
Yeah. That's
Always
true.
dump your babies. Don't throw them with the basket. Dump if you're. And this is a weird Jesus thing or Moses thing that.
But that makes you. But I mean, like that's kind of trying to make characters slightly more human. It's like they're not trying to kill him. They just don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
Just getting rid of him.
And this is a weird Moses thing.
That's why he's in a basket in the first place.
It's never gonna mean anything. Like, this is real Moses thematically,
sure.
But I don't think the rest of the movie is.
No, not really. I mean, well, except for the fact that he does try to, like, lead his people or whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to become the mayor and everything.
But that's not his people, right?
No, certainly not. He's trying to take over somebody else's people.
Ooh, that's cool. I don't remember that.
The way the logo folds out.
Yeah.
There was a real concerted effort to separate this from the previous material, but still call back to what we had done before. So, like, going through the sewer like this, sort of the way that we did with the logo is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
And there's a clear attempt at paralleling and contrasting Oswald Cobblepot and Bruce Wayne. Obviously.
Vincent Schiavelli, that sounds like he should be a mob boss.
I mean, if we were going to take that to its furthest extent, at least structurally, we wouldn't have started with Penguin's origin, because we don't start with Batman's origin.
Yeah, one of the problems I think this movie has, and this is going into this is the third act of 89, is the stuff we do with him and the stuff we do with Catwoman is as vague and as not actually saying anything as the Joker greed stuff.
Like, we have to spend a lot of time with it.
There's something there, but we're not saying anything. Like, we're not saying anything about, like, women and jobs and things like that with
And as I'm thinking about it, you know what the big difference is between the villains? You were never asked to sympathize with Jack Napier.
Yeah.
And you're constantly beaten over the head through this movie with, you're supposed to care about the Penguin because he's an outcast, and
but he's unlikable.
And you're supposed to care about Catwoman because she's objectified and because she lives in a man's world that oppresses women. And it's just that's laid on so thick, and these people are so unlikable.
Yeah. I mean, Catwoman's a little bit more likable than the Penguin, but
I still wouldn't use that word.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit more sympathetic than the Penguin.
At all, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying she deserves what happens to her when she gets thrown out a window, but she's so socially awkward and antisocial that, like, that in the context of this heightened reality, you see why that happens. I mean, Shrek's a horrible person, but I never sympathize with her the way I feel like I'm asked to. I guess the point I'm trying to make is she is set up clearly as she's supposed to be pathetic. And we're, I think, asked to believe that she's a victim from the beginning. That the world... that doesn't look as real as most of the matte paintings in the first movie, I don't think.
No.
And by real, I mean integrated. You know, because I mean
There's Felix the cat. That's really important.
Is that actually Felix the cat?
It looks like Felix.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
Well, Todd McFarlane didn't draw this, so maybe not.
So there's the Christmas motif ends up being a thing we do, of course, in a lot of Batman things after this, and I'm sure there's things in comics before it. I don't know, but
well, I'm sure there's like holiday specials and things, but I don't know if it's a thing with Batman.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a motif, but one of the things that's undeniable about this movie is trends that it set within Batman that got us to things that handle those things that we very effectively visually managed in this movie in better stories, and the Christmas thing is one of them.
We get pale Catwoman from this.
Yeah,
I don't think Catwoman's particularly pale.
I didn't even think of that
before this.
And yet, at the same time, it's also amusingly bucking trends that we had in Batman things before, specifically with the Penguin. And I will never understand why it seems we looked back at the 60s show so heavily as to take the two biggest things people remember about the Penguin from it and putting it in the same story. Penguin runs for mayor and steals and sabotages the Batmobile. That all comes from the 60s show. And because it was then popularized here, we still can't get away from either of those things. We do them all the time.
That's more of a multimedia thing. I don't feel like those come up in the comics as often as they do in TV shows.
Exactly, but in multimedia we constantly do it. I'm waiting for Bruce Wayne to get his driver's license in Gotham so the Penguin can steal his car. That has to happen. He's already run for mayor. At some point before Bruce Wayne is Batman in that show, Penguin will steal his car.
What is going on with your hair?
She's sad and pathetic.
One of my favorite things with like Christmas Batman is not necessarily the whole episode of the New Adventures of Batman, but just the ending of that Christmas episode where we find out that every Christmas Gordon and Batman go to like a diner and have a coffee together. I love that.
Yeah. So Christopher Walken is the real villain of this movie. And by real villain, I mean he's the guy with the plot that actually makes sense. And
Does it?
Yeah.
Because I think it makes less sense than the Joker's.
Really?
A power plant that sucks power?
I just mean that I know what he's doing and why.
I
shouldn't say plot.
Sure.
When I said plot, what I really meant was motivation.
Yes.
I know why he's doing things.
Yes.
It's typical and it's one-dimensional, but I know why he's doing things.
Yes.
He's a typical evil CEO guy who wants control and wants money, and that's what he's doing. And I like the idea of the Penguin finding a guy that personifies everything that like keeps outcasts.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
My problem with everything with the Penguin as an outcast is how immediately he and universally he's accepted.
Yeah.
He has no point. He is the only reason that people turn against him is because he is a monster. They immediately accept him.
We at least establish. Do you mean just is the idea of, well, people can't be, maybe they're fickle, but they can't be as like bigoted or whatever as you're saying they are if they so easily accept. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because the whole point is like I'm an outcast, I'm a freak.
Guy.
Everyone immediately is like, yeah, run for mayor, we'll vote for you, sure. Like, no one has the reaction that this movie is purporting.
Yeah.
In this movie. I'm not saying in the real world we would accept Penguin. I don't think we would. But in this movie...
Right, but I think it's supposed to be because they want something from them, they're taking advantage of them, and I'm just not sure exactly if that's working.
Yeah, I don't think it is, because everyone just seems to be, like, cool with him until he says that he hates all of them, and then all of a sudden, they turn on him. Okay, but that's rational. That is not you being justified. That's not proving your point, and I feel like the movie thinks maybe it is.
If we went further with it, though, and this is maybe adding too much to something that's not actually in the movie, but I think, and so we're having the same conversation we have with 89 in a lot of places, but I feel like it's this. Maybe the idea is supposed to be it's this kind of superficial, again, people are fickle idea of, well, it's novel and it makes us feel better about ourselves if we accept someone that looks like a monster, and so
But that doesn't seem to be the way the crowds are reacting. They just seem to like him.
Yeah, but we don't know why at all.
Yeah.
That's just, and then the crowds like him. I mean, we've already established that the Gotham citizens in mass are idiots in the last movie, right? We did establish that.
Man, it takes a long time to get to Batman in this. Which is another problem with this movie, or with Tim Burton in general, with this material, is that he clearly isn't interested in Batman. Joker and Batman, I think Joker technically actually has more screen time than Batman, but it's more even in the first film. He is clearly not interested in Batman in this movie.
He spends too much time on the villains, and the excuse he gives, and we've talked about this in other videos, is that Batman's supposed to be this this shadowy, unrelatable character, you know, intentionally. And that felt more intentional in the first movie. Here I'm with you. I don't know why we spend as much time with the villains as we do.
And it just seems like Tim Burton's more interested in them.
And it doesn't help that everybody's kind of a bad person and then Bruce Wayne is so distanced.
Yeah.
So there's an article that came out just today, because we're in the 25th anniversary of Batman Returns. And it is very bizarre and really cool timing that this came out as we're doing this movie. And I haven't read much of it yet, so I'm going to bring it up as we're watching this, maybe just read some bits of it. One of the things that I did see from it is that apparently Michael Keaton eliminated like half of his own dialogue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are you reading from? Did Michael Keaton do an interview?
Several of the actors in this movie did.
Oh, okay. He eliminated half his. Was it because he didn't like it, or he thought he should talk less?
Okay. That was kind of part of a headline. So I haven't read a lot more of it yet. But
I know there was an earlier draft of the script, and it's interesting. I looked at the credits. Is that guy's in that guy's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And he's insane and clearly having a great time.
Sam Hammond's credited with story, but not screenplay. I think he's credited with story solely because of Penguin and Catwoman. From what I understand, he did a draft of this that was about Penguin and Catwoman looking for gold buried under Wayne Manor. That was his version of this movie. And I kind of want to read that.
Makes sense to me.
Nope,
And,
it makes no sense.
Ultra dramatic and bizarre for no reason. Why would you have that?
Even for this universe, even for this heightened universe, this is too far.
If you happen to have anyone over late at night.
Yep. I'm a big fan of Batman. I like to know when he's being called.
Yeah.
And I always remember it as the signal shining into that light and then it reflecting it. It's not.
No.
Someone has to see the light and then...
around his house.
So wait, does Alfred see the bat signal and then press that so that he knows? Why doesn't he just come say, hey, bat signal's up?
I don't know. It's like he added those after '89 when Alfred would have to like come to him and tell him that the bat signal's shining. So he's like, "Oh, this is inefficient. So I will impractically make my own bat signals that pop up all around my house."
I do like the him sitting alone, kind of like this.
Yeah,
I like that as an introduction to Bruce Wayne. And I could maybe, if this movie had a bit more Batman, I can maybe get behind how long it takes us to get to Batman.
This is him returning. He's currently returning. Mm-hmm. That's what he's doing.
That is also John Peters. He likes that title. That's why Superman Returns is called Superman Returns, because he produced that.
Both of them did that? Okay, all right.
Yep, those are both John Peters.
Yeah. It's just the subtitle should be To the Theater.
He really likes the subtitle Returns.
Well, that's fine.
So... Stilts. Useless.
Sorry.
Not against the Batmobile.
I am not getting much of a signal. No, you're fine. I'm not getting much of a signal here, so. Carry on. I've never... I'll say this. Boy, we like to have screaming ladies in these movies. We didn't talk about that with the first one, but Vicky Vale... Man, I've always wanted to count the number of times she screams.
Well, and that's an 80s action movie trope. They talk about it with the second Indiana Jones, how much she screams, and like that's an action movie thing.
Why is it a circus gang?
I don't know, because they're all freaks. It's good he'd need that. I actually probably could have used that occasionally.
Use what?
The thing that lifts up the car and flips it
turns it around.
And
yeah,
that
is stuck somewhere, especially in the ice.
That is the moment that just crosses the line for me for Batman.
It's setting people on fire.
Setting people on fire. And later he'll drop a bomb in the guy's smile.
Like blowing up a factory and killing everyone in it.
I mean, immediately in this movie.
In
like,
this- yeah,
the fact
right
is, at the
away.
beginning of the third act, we immediately go, this is a murderer.
Yeah. That is Tim Burton saying, this is just about cool things happening.
Yeah. But again,
and these people are bad, and Batman is good because we say he is, and it's okay to set people on fire because they're bad.
And with the conversations he has with Catwoman later, it is a real, as we talked about with the previous movie.
I do like that. I don't know how he's that strong.
Yeah.
I don't buy that he could actually pull that, because that looks like, what, cement? No, is it just drywall? Maybe it is just drywall.
Years ago, I did a commentary with Matt for this, and I remember Matt's explanation
Really?
is that Batman has tiny explosives planted all over Gotham just in case he needs to pull building into people. Yeah, I've actually done a commentary for this before. I forgot about that. No, much like BVS, and we talked about this last movie, all of the killing and that stuff is because it's cool and you can't think about it, because he's later going to talk about Catwoman about not killing, and that doesn't work in this movie, because he murders people.
Michael Keaton cut more than half of his Batman lines from the script. This is from an article from Hollywood Reporter. My version of the script had a lot more Batman and Bruce Wayne speeches. Michael Keaton, this is, who is talking right now? Screenwriter Daniel Waters.
Okay.
My version of the script had a lot more Batman and Bruce Wayne speeches. Michael Keaton would go through the script and say, hey, that's a great line, but you gotta cut it. This is a good speech, but you gotta take it out. He wanted to have very minimal dialogue, especially in the Batsuit. When I saw the final film, I realized he was exactly right.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Keaton preferred to let the suit do most of the talking. Once I realized how powerful the suit was in terms of an image on screen, I just used it, he says.
I mean, I like a more silent Batman, but this feels like a Batman that doesn't have a point or a philosophy or an idea.
Yeah, the problem is I'm so... Even more so than the first movie, that's also part of the reason this is a harder movie for me to enjoy, I think, is I need somebody to ground this, because we have too many characters that are like...
That's big crap.
To a degree... That's awesome. To a degree... Oh!
Is this all CGI? Because this looks good.
Oh, okay. So...
Might be stop motion.
The ducks, yeah, it's hard to tell. It is actually really hard to tell what we're looking at. It's got to be it's got to be miniature. No,
if it's CGI, it looks amazing.
No, it's not CG. Once you get to the end of it, you can kind of tell it's miniature.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't realize this. You saw the ducks hanging, because that's supposed to be like a fair or something that's abandoned.
Right.
And that's where he gets the big duck vehicle. In Batman Animated Series, there's an episode with the Penguin where you also see the duck vehicles hanging somewhere, and then Penguin has one of the ducks. They homage this, and they give him a big duck vehicle.
Yeah.
And I remember in that video, or I remember when Steve and I did a commentary for that episode. I don't remember which one it is. I remember going, oh, it's really cool that they gave us an origin for where he got... No, it's in this, too. It's exactly the same thing. I didn't remember that.
So, the question is, raised by penguins meet circus people? Like, he should be raised by circus people, right?
Right.
Like, that's clearly what should be happening
That makes
there.
a lot more sense.
And the death scene that he's going to have at the end where the penguins carry him is not moving. It's unintentionally really funny. Danny DeVito gives an amazing performance. I don't like the performance necessarily. Like, he's so vulgar and crass. Like, I don't like that. But he's living in this role.
Yeah. And again, I think I could like it more if I didn't feel like I was constantly being asked to relate
Feel bad
to
for
him.
him. Yeah, because he's so gross and weird.
And whiny.
Yeah.
I mean, walking makes everything better.
No, walking does make everything better.
But yeah, I don't know who else there is in this movie to ground it besides Batman. So when Bruce Wayne, like, and even Bruce Wayne scenes, it feels like maybe if Keaton was cutting dialogue, maybe he was even cutting Bruce Wayne dialogue, or those scenes were just not written very well, because I feel even more like there's a wall between me and him than I did in '89. And he does a lot more stuff, like the, telling Vicky that he's not Bruce Wayne and then saying that he is. He does a lot more of that kind of stuff in this.
Yeah, yeah. But why now? Wait. But why now? Like, when the Joker was running around, wouldn't you want to be like, hey, man, I'm down here, too. I'm with you. I'm hip. I'm cool. I'm weird.
Yeah, I don't know why now. Because here pretty soon, Selena Kyle's going to become Catwoman.
Well, and that's not really a complaint. Like, it's a superhero movie. The villain has to show up at some point.
No,
like,
I think it's fair to complain about that. I really do. Even in the context of this heightened material that's not meant to entirely make sense, I guess.
It's Jack. Everyone in this universe is named Jack. Your human name is Jack.
Jack Cobblepot.
And I think that guy, the guy that I said was in a bunch of things, I think he's in a bunch of Tim Burton things. I think he keeps coming up in Tim Burton things, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I recognize him, but not right off. Look at Psychoplasm.
Yeah.
Or possibly Ninja Turtle ooze. So much ooze in the late 80s, early 90s. Just everywhere.
Well, I mean, the 80s were a bigger time for, like, pollution. Like, isn't that when the... it was in Chicago where, like, the lake lit on fire because there was so much waste in the rivers and stuff?
Yeah. We were doing a lot of commentary and criticism of how we were handling pollution and...
I mean, Captain Planet.
Environmentalism in general, yeah. Oh, and then he pulls out Fred's hand. Remember that? Fred's hand? Hi, I'm Fred's hand!
That could be anybody's hand.
It might not even be a real hand. Maybe it's the hand that Joker pulled off at the end of the first movie where he's like, lend me a hand, and then maybe he just found that.
His dad's kind of on him for that scene, right? Like, Batman tried to help him.
Yeah, that is on him.
Okay, at this moment, right here, what is Penguin's plan, and does he have one?
Yeah.
Because he kidnaps him, but he's the one that's like, what if I orchestrate, like, welcome home? Because I don't think he's thinking about being mayor. I think that's Shrek's idea.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And then he's looking...
And then that even more makes me ask the question, why now?
And then he's looking at the... Later he'll look at, like, to find his name, and I guess he's actually, like, secretly really looking at all the firstborn children, because later in the movie we're going to have a whole different plot these going on, because the mayor plot failed.
And then when the killing all the children plan doesn't work, he just wants to kill everybody.
Yeah, penguins with missiles.
With penguins with missiles on their backs, which is just the best thing. I mean, the thing, and I think part of the reason that Gotham is taking so many of its cues from this movie is because we are already in a lot of ways seeing a dark, more black comedy 60s Batman, like I keep calling that movie. Like, I feel like Tim Burton has steered this ship in the direction of, and I think a lot of people after this that liked this movie felt this way about it, and then of course you had a lot of parents that were against it because it was.
And this is one of the places where I think that was a completely valid thing.
No, absolutely, because it felt like it was for no good reason too. But I feel like Tim Burton kind of steered this ship in the direction of if it's dark and creepy and unsettling, that makes it serious. And that's part of the problem with it, right? Is that it actually is as goofy in most places as 60s Batman is.
Yeah.
I mean, we opened this. You mentioned it when it happened. When Batman comes in, one of the first things that happens is the thing you could imagine the '60s car doing.
Yep.
With the thing that comes up and it turns around. Yep. And it's great. And I love the absurdity of that. But is this a movie that we're supposed to take seriously on a character level at all, or is it just a satire, or is it all just mood and look?
I think it's that.
And is it a...
But that's where I come down on most Tim Burton movies, so...
Sure, yeah.
I'm of two minds about the Hello There sign. Do you have thoughts on the Hello There sign?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I've always noticed
So on one hand,
why it's there.
Okay,
but...
so I'm going to debate myself here.
Okay, all right.
On one hand...
You have a whole thing about the hello there sign?
I don't believe that this woman has that sign. She's such an introvert, I don't believe that this woman has a big neon sign in her room.
Well, maybe the idea is that she's an introvert outside, but she's trying to get... And you can she's trying to get over that, so she's putting things in her own place that might help her, break that mold.
Maybe? I don't know. My kind of argument to myself would be, but I can also buy that this person has one day where she thinks she's going to be like today I'm gonna be myself and I'm gonna do something for me, and she gets a sign that's going to make her so much stronger and more courageous, and then just stays there in her apartment. Like, I can buy that happened too. I don't know. She's so
also doesn't
gone
look like
at
a
the
thing
beginning
you can go out and buy. Like, it looks like she put it together herself or something. It's real crude looking.
Yeah. She's so kind of so far gone when we meet her. Like, I almost don't buy...
She actually has that problem that people claim Jack Napier does in the first movie, where she's already crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, we're supposed to
also,
sympathize with
tell her cats don't actually like milk. You should not actually feed your cat milk. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I always love this lighting, and the really creepy way that the glasses cast the shadow across her forehead, giving her this almost. I mean, it's supposed to look cat-like, right? Like she's got the mask before the mask.
I see you've discovered my cunning ruse,
and it gives her this really creepy look.
My power plant that sucks power.
And it kind of plays as visual foreshadowing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, because it looks like the...
Because it looks like the mask.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
But she seems so out there, I just... Like, you look at her apartment, and it almost looks like a normal person's apartment, and I don't buy... Like, she's a crazy cat lady. Like, she's already a crazy cat lady.
And again, she's supposed...
I know that makes sense. She's got a lot of stuffed animals. Maybe there's something... where she's... It doesn't feel as off as I feel like this woman's apartment would be.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm with you there. It seems like a real off-putting, like, kind of place. Unsettling kind of... I don't think her apartment looks normal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not... I don't know.
It seems like she's trying to surround herself with things to get herself out of her shell.
Maybe we've had, 2 generations now of growing up with Tim Burton films where like people do decorate apartments in weird ways, because I've been to apartments that kind of look like that and they're normal people.
Well, the other thing, sure, the other thing you got to remember too is a different time from now where we had things, we did a lot of decor that people would consider kind of tackier now.
Yeah.
The real Madonna Material Girl kind of age, right? We're still in that.
Yeah.
We're just leaving it, but we're still kind of there. Secondly, what do you have in this really super heightened reality to compare it to?
That's true.
We were talking about all the really, as you put it, avant-garde, kind of Art Deco-y kinds of places. Like, compared to all of that, I don't think it looks normal for real life necessarily, even in 1992. Some of it.
Obviously, it's a heightened world. So
yeah, exactly.
I'd never really thought of this, I guess, until watching it right now. So part of the problem because the female empowerment thing that they do with her in this movie is very much the greed thing. Where, like, not only are they not saying anything new, and they're, like, last here, like, it feels so surface, they're not actually saying anything.
Yeah.
We only see her interact with her boss, who's the villain of the film.
It feels a little outdated even for 1992.
Yeah.
When she's up on the roof with Batman, that's one of my least favorite moments in the movie. And she says, "I'm a woman." I don't know.
I think she literally says, "Hear me roar." Yes, that happens in this movie.
Yes, but that's not the scene I'm talking about. I'm talking about when they're fighting, and she's like, she says, "How could you? I'm a woman." Like she pretends like she gets hurt, and he goes,
"That's real 60s."
And he goes, "Oh, sorry." And then she gets the upper hand on him. It wasn't modern enough even for 1992.
But the only thing that we see from her is her with her boss. Like, we're not seeing a world that's oppressing her. We're seeing her boss, who's the villain of the movie, being mean to her. It doesn't do what it thinks it's doing.
There's the boardroom of men that won't take her seriously, but in the role she's in, she's the secretary. It's not her place to say any of what she's saying.
And her boss is belittling her, and they're going along
yes,
with it because they work for him too.
You can make the argument that they're probably like stereotyping her and thinking she's just an airheaded secretary. But even if she were a man in that situation, what she's doing is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. It's just I feel like we're trying to say something with her that I don't think works
exactly
at all,
right.
or is really actually being said. It's
even in the case of a melodrama, even with stereotypes, with archetypes,
it's the shadows of what's being said. It's not actually saying anything, and it's so late to the party, anyways. On this,
so I probably said this the last time I did a commentary on this. This scene is really hard for me to watch.
Oh,
I have a real tough time with it.
Is this a personal backstory thing?
No, it's well, kind of. Yeah,
do you love stuffed animals more than anything in the world? You can't.
It's me as a kid being really disturbed by that. I don't know what it was, but like her putting her stuffed animals down the drain, like I just couldn't handle it. Really, really bothered me.
She looks really crazy.
And it's supposed to be unsettling.
Yeah.
Certainly. But the problem is, this movie, story-wise, is too cookie-cutter and too cartoony to also not be meant for children to see it.
Yeah.
Unless it was actually about more stuff,
Structurally, character-wise, even thematically, all this is kind of a children's film. This is not a mature movie. This is not an intelligent movie. You're making a movie for children that's inappropriate for children. That's weird. I don't know why you do that.
And you could argue there's some of that in '89.
Absolutely, but in more an '80s sense of we used to make movies that were a little edgy that the whole family could go see, and they weren't kids movies, they weren't adult movies, they were in that in between. This is really unsettling, and some of the stuff we do with Penguin is just straight up inappropriate for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it as a kid too, but I want to say
look how you turned out.
Yeah. I want to say there was some kind of discussion or thought process from my mother before I actually see this of I don't know if you should see that one.
It was a long time before I was convinced that this was not a trash bag. It's not a trash bag, but
no, that's the other thing she bought on that one day where she was going to be an independent person. She bought the sexy black dress or whatever it was. It was a dress, yes.
It looks like it's just material, but I think you're right. I think it is supposed to be a dress. Now, having said all of that, I love the Catwoman costume. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's great.
It looks like it. I don't know.
Some of that might be nostalgia. I don't know. I think it's great.
I don't want to bring logic in this movie because there is no place for it here. There's not enough material in that dress to make that costume, and then when she makes the costume, it doesn't actually look like it's stitched together. It looks like a leather costume that has stitches on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look thrown together like they want it to look.
That's true. But it's still a kind of a cool aesthetic. It also is, as you keep pointing out, really Burton-y and sets up a lot of the kinds of things with Burton things, because he likes to do a lot of that kind of stitching and skeleton looking stuff.
Mm-hmm. That being said, it's better than the animated series costume, which is one of my least favorite Catwoman costumes.
Now, can we agree that Pfeiffer's not the problem?
No. I don't think she gives a great performance. I've heard people make the argument she's amazing in this movie. She's great. She's perfect. I don't think that, but I think that's all material.
I think she's amazing in the costume. I think she has the same thing that a lot of people complain about with, if you want to just superficially look at the performances in and out of costume, she's a great Catwoman, but she's not a great Selena Kyle.
Sure.
People like to say that Bruce Wayne's a great, or that Michael Keaton's a good Batman, but he's not a good Bruce Wayne. I think that's exactly what that is with Catwoman.
Well, I mean, some of this is some of my own personal.
The way she moves is great. One thing that's really interesting that I don't think people talk about a lot is she has a Catwoman voice, Batman usually has a Batman voice.
My kind of personal.
We see a real transformation there, and I love that.
I'll call it Batman politics, which I think is just a thing we should start saying, and we have Batman politics.
Mm-hmm.
My personal Batman politics. I like her just being a cat thief. I don't like that she's crazy. Catwoman's not crazy. I have a lot of issues with just this take on the character, period. I think a lot of her dialogue is horrendous. I think her performance is good.
Especially physically.
Yeah, but also kind of like Penguin, I still don't like it.
Yeah.
She's given her all. She's doing a great job, just like he is. I still don't like it.
And there are things I can appreciate that just aren't to my taste, too.
Yeah.
Burton, in a lot of interviews about this movie, makes a big deal out of...
no one's questioning the Penguin Man. Everyone's wondering how he's rising through the hole. Sorry.
A lot of people make a big deal out of Burton makes a big deal out of the animalistic side of these characters, and the point is supposed to be, he's supposed to be questioning whether they're actually human or how much of their humanity they still have left. But that's a surface idea that we don't really flesh out.
And it only applies to Penguin.
But it's supposed to be, he's a bat, he's a penguin, she's a cat.
The bat, the cat,
like,
the penguin. Sure.
They're all animal people. But it doesn't go any further than that, and I'm not sure.
And they're all right there in different ways.
In very different ways. Yeah. What exactly is that as an idea? That sounds really morphistic. It's almost like he woke up late at night at one point and was like, "Oh my goodness, they're all animals," and then never had any idea beyond that. Really. Mm-hmm. You know, and I like the idea of setting this at Christmas because, you know, the idea of giving and goodwill, and that's when everyone, like even the most, you know, heinous and like dreck of mankind's humanity is supposed to come out. That's like the sappy idea we do with Christmas specials. You know what I mean? Is, well, you're not going to hurt anybody at Christmas. That's you know, that's the one day of the year that we can all agree to get along. Not how real life works. But,
no. #1 suicide day of the year. Suicide rate day of the year.
Yeah, but that's not killing other people.
Well, no, but it's just, it's not. We want it to be the happiest day of the year, and it's not for a lot of people.
Right.
But, so, immediately, he kind of looks like 60s Mad Hatter there. Immediately, I have no sympathy for this character because he comes out and he's real whiny, he's real lame on thick,
Penguin.
like, oh man, they hated me because I was different. No, they didn't. They hated you because you were a monster and were eating the cat. Like, no, it is not just because you looked weird, it's because you're a monster.
Yeah, and
that's not the same thing.
And it's
maybe
just,
they could have dealt with it better.
Right, it's just dialing everything up to 11, so there is a reason that they're rich people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are supposed to be, again, trying to draw a comparison between him and Bruce Wayne, where, yes, Bruce had rich parents, but theoretically they were good people. We don't know jack for anything about them in this franchise. But his parents could have tried harder, and they make a big deal out of them kind of sticking their nose up in the air about the whole thing, you know, like they don't.
They're very snooty.
It's not. They're very exactly. They're real snooty. It's not. They're real stuck up about it. It's
so
not
there
just
is him making the list.
Oh
of the
no.
firstborn.
Right. It's not just. And the cave looks totally different.
Yeah. Well, the city looks totally different.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we're actually seeing an evolution of the cave and the city to what it's going to look like in Batman Forever, which is entirely unintentional.
Oh, sorry. You were saying.
But, like, there's almost a conscious effort to make everyone as unsympathetic as possible. All you had to do with his parents is, you know, have a scene where he kills the cat, and they're like, oh no, what do? We don't want to have to get rid of our kid, but we have to. We don't have to. Or they know it's horrible and they feel really bad about it, but if it's the kid or their lifestyle or their people's perception of them or whatever it is, they're going to choose their lifestyle over their kid. And even in the allotted time that we get that at the beginning, you still could have conveyed some of that.
Yeah.
We're going out of our way to make these people as unreal as we can, and even way more so than the first movie, I think.
And I think largely public conscience-wise, 89 is way better remembered than this movie.
Of course.
People don't like this. I mean, there are people who like this movie. I think no one likes the movie. But I think in the public conscious perception, this is not one people...
And I have certainly gotten flack for my views about this movie over the years. And I really thought I might sit down with this after criticizing 89 the way we did yesterday, and feel a little bit different about it. Be like, well, maybe, you know, it is all just nostalgia with 89. Maybe there really isn't as much of a difference as I think there is, and it's just one of these movies it hit me earlier and established my love for superheroes and stuff in a way that this didn't, and there are just taste things I don't like with this movie, but my criticisms are the same. But as we're talking about it, I think it still is a lesser piece.
Yeah, I don't think it works as well. Because 89's first act isn't bad. And its second act, it kind of goes a little nuts, and the third act, it kind of... Like, none of it really makes sense by the end. This doesn't make sense from the beginning.
Yeah. It's very difficult to articulate, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to sound like, I just don't like it, and so I'm going to pretend like I have really great reasons. There are some,
and there are people that love this movie.
Yeah, and like
Fusion
I said,
loves this movie.
Say it again.
Fusion loves this movie.
And like I said, I've gotten some flack for my views for this over the years, and with the old rewind. The reasons people like this movie are indisputable. It's gorgeous, you know. Like a lot of it is performance, as we were saying, and some people think it works on a story level. But a lot more of what I hear from people that really like it, what they are latching onto is it is a visually artistic piece.
And maybe it's a similar thing to 89, where like we talked about, like it's not that that movie does not work on a critical level, but it's how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't like how this, and maybe I don't like how this movie makes me feel.
Yeah, so it doesn't work, and it's easier to find all the seams and flaws in this movie because it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And I think maybe for a large majority, it's not working for more people than 89 did. And so more people are seeing the seams. And just how vile it is, I think that's...
Vile, yeah. I'm not finding enough to grasp onto because there's too much stuff that's off-putting.
Yeah.
And 89, I didn't feel like was constantly pushing me away like that.
And it feels like there's stuff that they want to play as tragedy that comes off unintentionally as comedy. The last of The Penguin, I'm like, am I supposed to feel bad or am I supposed to be laughing at this?
I want to read some more of this article if I can.
Sure.
When Burton made his first Batman movie, this is so important, he wasn't thinking about corporate synergy or selling toys. That all changed with Returns. At the time, first Batman, you'd never heard the word franchise. On the second one, you started to hear that word, says Burton. On the second one, we started to get comments from McDonald's like, what's all that black stuff coming out of the Penguin's mouth? So people were just starting to think of these films in terms of marketing. That's the New World Order. And I think that definitely affected how they put this movie together to some degree.
Did it? How they put it together? Because that's all stuff afterwards. Because all that stuff's in this movie. They didn't cut it. They didn't tone it down.
No, but I just think that like adding another villain instead of just having one, I think some of those choices might have they were thinking more how to appease the public with a sequel that loved that first movie more than they were just letting Michael Keaton make a movie. I mean, there were more studio mandates with this.
Mm.
I guess I'm saying more.
Was there? I thought Tim Burton had kind of carte blanche to make this movie.
It's been a while since I've looked into the special features and stuff for this movie, but I thought I remembered at least one of the villains being something that the studio asked for. But okay. I could be wrong.
I was always under the impression that...
yeah, I thought they asked him to do the Penguin, and he never really cared about the Penguin, but then he kind of discovered an angle, and that's why the animal nature thing happens. I thought that's what he says.
And obviously he's not the writer, which is different than when Chris Nolan will do his movies, where he's a co-writer on all the movies. But I was under the impression that at least for the actual making of this movie, for the look and all of it, he was given carte blanche. 89 was such a success, you can do whatever you want, and for some reason, this is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's not how I remember him talking about it exactly. Okay. But it might be the Penguin was the only mandate, I'm not sure.
It doesn't look patched together to me. Like I really think it's not a bad costume, it's just it doesn't look like she made it.
No, that's fair.
And the I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar thing, like, that's a 60s thing, right? Like, we are way late on that. Or maybe a 70s thing. Like, it's not a topical reference in 1992.
No, I don't think so either.
Great business. I like that.
What? Just that he threw paper?
I like that he is a more confident Bruce Wayne here in the business setting. It gives you the impression that Bruce Wayne kind of knows what he's doing.
I like that we see him in the business setting. We didn't really have that at all in the first movie.
And he's really confident. He throws in the paper. He is in control in this scene. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
At least performance-wise.
But there's not really anything like that to compare it to with the first one. Like, when you say he's more confident, now we're just seeing him in the business world. Like...
I guess I just mean, whenever we see Bruce Wayne in the first one, we don't ever see him in the corporate world, but anytime we see just Bruce Wayne, he's that really detached, you know, kind of standoffishness.
Yeah, he's at least sort of more about something there.
I like seeing a more assertive Bruce Wayne.
I'm not going to be controlled by the mob. You keep polluting people. So, I mean, at least...
And he's got a cockiness to him.
Yeah. He's got a little personality that's maybe more consistent. Until he starts dealing with Selina, and then all bets are off.
Mm.
One of the big problems is she is clearly deranged.
Yeah.
And
he's
falls
into
for her like she is Vicky Vale again.
Yeah.
And they try to kind of put her in both of those roles, which I don't think works.
See, and there's him being the guy he is in the first movie.
Yeah.
Where he says, we've met before, but he met her as Batman. Like, that's not a mistake the guy 6 seconds ago would have made.
No, you're absolutely right. That was definitely a thing I picked up on when I did the rewind and was really kind of bamboozled by it. I was like, wait a minute. And is it just supposed to be that he's so taken by her that he's making those kinds of mistakes?
Maybe. Or he's just uncomfortable in social situations. He knows how to work in a boardroom because... he knows how to do that, but that's not the same as a social situation. The problem is,
I don't know how much of it is supposed to be we have extenuating circumstances with individuals, or if they represent the world at large ever.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
With regard to gender roles and how men and women treat each other and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like the movie is saying kind of two contradictory things at the same time. Just depending on what scene we're in, you know, where it's like these are detached people, as we keep saying, who don't know how to act around each other, but then at the same time, the world at large kind of has all the same problems that they do, and I'm not sure if it's saying anything with that. I don't think it is.
Well, part of it is they're so shallow in caricatures, and I'm not sure what if they're supposed to be representing anything in the real world. It runs in this issue of...
But even in just the world we have. Like, forget the real world. I don't know who they are versus what the rest of this reality is like.
Well, and I don't know
Are
if
they extreme personalities or not?
Yeah.
When you look at anybody... Again, Vicky Vale and Knox were grounded characters for that world. They told you that there were... And, like, everything in that world was heightened, but... there was something to compare it to. You had perspective. You know, so you had extreme personalities compared to those characters.
He said badder fish to fry, which is an interesting word choice, as opposed to bigger fish. I don't know if that's anything, specific word choice. But, no, well, and it's...
He's just changing a comic colloquialism.
It's hard to read... with the what this movie's trying to say, because I'm not sure if they're supposed to represent anything or they are isolated. These are these characters, because we don't really know anything about these characters in the way of, because it doesn't play like a heightened like psychodrama like Ang Lee's Hulk, where it's like we are exploring ideas here.
Yeah,
they don't feel like embodiments of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's set up as well as it could be to actually do the ideas they want to do.
Yeah, because one is supposed to be about sexism, and the other one is supposed to be about... I guess they're both about some kind of bigotry.
And I mean, at least we see some of what Catwoman's talking about. We never see that with Penguin outside of his parents. And again, he was a monster. But the problem is not the same thing.
Individually, these two people are creating their own hells and then blaming it on someone else, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit less with Selina, but...
Yeah, less, but... Yeah, in that case, maybe it's not so much creating...
I would have put some clothes on him.
Yeah. Maybe at that... with her, it's not as much as with him, you know, creating her own problems as it is just... She is... I forget what I was going to say. I mean, she's constantly whining about it, and so that makes her less sympathetic, but...
She's not particularly assertive.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that she, like, deserves what happens to her, certainly. But I guess what I was going to say is, going back to something you said earlier, but is it that...
Is it the
women
world,
in
or
this
is it
world
just him?
are so oppressed by women, or is it just that guy?
Yeah. So does any of this bother you? Because I know you've got, like, a food thing. Does any of this bother you?
Not anymore, just because I've seen it so many times.
It still creeps me out.
Really?
I don't like it, and I don't think it should be in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've never cared for it either. I'm with you. But I think I'm just real desensitized for it.
Now, the nose thing, I think, is hilarious and doesn't belong in this movie.
It's just in the wrong movie.
It's so...
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
Is the problem... Is it this simple? Is it just Tim Burton has gotten clout now, and so he's able to be that self-indulgent?
I think so. I think that's exactly what it is.
He just didn't have anybody to reel him in. The nose thing, I think, kind of almost bothers me more than the fish in his hand.
See, the nose thing doesn't bother me because it's, I think it's funny. Again, not for a movie that we sold the Happy Meal toys to, and maybe not even in this movie, but there's something about it that's very black humor that I really like. The fish thing just creeps me out. Like, it's just gross.
Yeah. I like the posters a lot.
Yeah.
I like that we have kind of a rendering of a comic book looking penguin like that.
Yeah.
And again, we're calling back to that.
That's how he wants people to see him.
In the '60s show. Yeah, absolutely.
See, he's not interested in this plan at all. This is all Max Schreck. He didn't even know this was happening until he walked downstairs.
No, that's how Max Schreck wants people to see him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has delusions of grandeur, and he likes the idea of it, but he doesn't want to have to do the work.
Oh, I forgot he was all really crass and sexual, too.
Yeah.
And there's some of that in '89, but it's not like this.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the kind of multi-level thing.
He's a predator. He's a sexual predator, and yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of multi-level thing where it's like, okay, well, the kids aren't going to pick up on this, and they're gonna, and the parents will. This is just vile. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Again, I like things like this in other movies. It's this movie, it's this material, I just don't like it. And he grosses me out. I mean, he's amazing, but he grosses me out.
Yeah, he's amazing because he throws himself so into it.
Mm-hmm. And he commits so much.
And that is one of those roles where you hear people talk about him never coming out of character if he's in the makeup.
Mm-hmm. I like Danny DeVito a lot. I think Danny DeVito is a lot of fun.
But I can't imagine being on set and having to deal with that every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he never comes out of... Like, that guy never comes out of character.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he was still a professional, but... And Danny DeVito, to this day, talks really fondly about this project.
Yeah, I think
he just loved doing it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you at this time thought comic book movies were a fun novelty to make, there weren't as many of them, and they weren't as big of a deal, except for Batman right then. And so it was a real treat to get to do something like this, because so many major movies now put people in absurd, heightened costumes.
Mm.
You know, Michael Keaton tells a story about, in the special features on '89, about how, about a scene where he and Jack at one point just look at each other and start bursting out laughing because of how ridiculous they look. That would never happen now.
No.
We're getting to where every major actor in Hollywood has done one of these.
Yeah.
And it's almost a feather in your cap. It's like a point of pride at this point for a lot of people.
It's a point of pride for coming up, and it's a point of pride for I've had a career and now I'm going to do one of these fun movies.
Yeah.
That everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and then the sweet spot is when it's a comic book movie. It's one of these movies, but it's not just a fun, silly movie. Where it becomes a real movie, like Logan or something, or
Winter Soldier, or Dark Knight,
where it turned into, and maybe you didn't even know it when you signed up to do it. You know, it
I
turned
get
into
the
a
impression
real movie,
that a lot of those actors, the seasoned actors, cannot tell which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones when they're picking projects.
When they're picking them, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe once they get in there.
So this is the reason.
Look, he's got the Arkham Batarang.
This is the reason I know I saw this movie as a kid. This captured my imagination.
Just that he had a Batarang that he could remote control.
Yep, something about that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen as a kid.
Really?
I never had like a toy Batarang, but I had a Batman that had this bat-shaped like wing thing that hooked onto his back, and I used that as a Batarang, and I pretended I had that. For some reason, that one thing in this movie captured my imagination so much as a kid.
That's a cool shot.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Just having her go into the cat head like that.
Okay, so someone had to explain this to me. Maybe you picked up on this. Max Schreck owns this store?
Yeah, I forgot about it until you said it, but yes, I knew
because
that.
I always thought this scene was pointless, and then someone explained. It actually might have been Fusion. Somebody explained to me.
No, she blows this place up because it's his.
He owns it.
Yes, it's called Shrek's department store.
Yeah. Sure, I don't know. This scene still feels pointless. This is a problem when you think about things.
She's just getting revenge. I don't know what's pointless about it.
Okay, but think about...
She doesn't have any direction yet besides just go after the guy that killed her.
But think about... Well, but why would you go to the department store? Why not go to the building he works in?
Maybe it's that elaborate thing where she wants to like hit him where it hurts and then actually kill him later, you know.
What she's not thinking
about... She could
about
articulate that, yeah.
Is all the women that work there that she's now put out of work. She's not thinking about the concept. She's not thinking about the future.
That's right. But again, you can chalk everything up to, well, she's crazy now.
Person, yeah.
Yeah.
Batman's real into that, though. I forgot there was a Wilhelm in that.
that was that. So you just moved your head like that for show, right? Because that didn't...
There it is.
The momentum of that
There's where Batman smiles as he blows someone up.
As he blows someone up. Yep.
That's not Batman.
He's just as crazy. That's the thing, is he's just as crazy as they are.
Yeah.
So what is the difference?
And even though he is just crazy as they are, Tim Burton still isn't as interested in him as the other two.
Yeah.
Why is Batman... This is what I've never understood about Tim Burton or with Tim Burton, with this movie in
enough
particular,
of a difference between any of them.
Why is he less interesting to Tim Burton than the other two?
Yeah.
What is it that makes him less interesting? He's also an outsider. He's got a bad
money.
past.
Is that all it is? He's rich?
Maybe. I mean, Tim Burton's a young guy. He's not super successful yet. I mean, maybe after 89. But I can't imagine. But I'd imagine 89 is one of those things where he got paid kind of like a flat fee, and then that movie blew up. I bet you he didn't make a lot of money off 89. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think he did. But okay. I don't know. I don't know that. So can I complain about the Batsuit?
I know Jack Nicholson made a lot of money.
I don't like this Batsuit as well as 89. And some people...
that's funny because I was just about to ask you about the Batsuit.
Some people look at it and think it's exactly the same. It's not. I don't like the chest. Or the torso.
It's
overall.
More squares.
Yeah. And it doesn't look...
This scene isn't contrived at all.
This is gonna sound silly. It doesn't look as armored. And I don't mean that I want an armored Batsuit, but it doesn't look like there's any Kevlar there. It looks like that would be a real vulnerable... And then we find out that it is. And I hate that. If you knifed that part in the first movie, he wouldn't take the knife, but he takes it now. Why does he have a lesser Batsuit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand that.
And he still can't turn his head. Because we actually do that in Dark Knight, but we have an explanation for it.
Yeah, but he still couldn't turn his head even after this.
No, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm saying in Dark Knight, we actually give him a suit that is less armored, but we give a reason for why he's wearing it.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's crazy that we still didn't even figure out how to do that by Forever. And even by Begins. Is some of that just the look, or could they really not come up with an aesthetically pleasing way to make it so he could turn his head?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because when you look at the Dark Knight helmet is not the The Dark Knight helmet only works with the Dark Knight suit. It's like, it's more like a motorcycle helmet.
His bat's too big. I am complaining about that. Look at it. It's a little big.
All of this is nonsensical, right?
Yeah.
We're all this is the Daredevil on rooftops thing. Like, why is anyone here at this moment at this time? They all just conveniently, all three of them were here.
But I wouldn't care if I was having more fun with it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who you were before. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. But if we weren't making as big of a deal out of the novelty of, oh, now he's got to fight a female villain, I wouldn't care about the logistics of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, none of that's fun to me. And they don't have any chemistry.
They have no chemistry.
She's not a real, I mean, he's not a real person either, but...
No, because part of the fun...
She's as crazy as the Joker, which makes him feel really superficial, right?
Because part of the fun of Catwoman as a character, and part of the problem with Catwoman as an ongoing narrative character, is Bruce Wayne is tempted by her.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wayne is just sexually attracted to this woman.
That's it.
He is not interested in her. The whole point of Catwoman is that she could go good, and if she went good, she would be perfect. But she steals things, and she's kind of a criminal.
And if only she had the resources he did, she wouldn't do the things she does.
Yes. But he likes her as a person.
Well, except
he's just
I guess if she came from the same place, she still might, because she's so material and likes the challenge of things, and she's got this this brand of selfishness Batman doesn't have. But yeah, we lose the cat burglar thing with her entirely. Yeah. I mean, we get to see her go to places on her own and do things with the whip and stuff, but it's not really about stealing anything.
Now, one of the things I will give this movie, not that I like what it did, but like I kind of give it a pass as opposed to Catwoman. I don't know where the Penguin is when this movie comes out. Like, now, for the past 2 decades, Penguin's a mob boss, he runs guns, we know exactly who the Penguin is, we figured that out. When this movie comes out...
There are different versions of it.
Yeah, when this movie comes out, I don't know if there's a definitive take on that character. Sometimes he is a freak. Sometimes he's just a guy in a suit that kind of walks weird. Sometimes, I don't know if we had a real definitive version yet.
But you've noticed, we like to take the mob boss and put some of this in it now.
Yes, we do.
And it works.
Yeah.
I like the...
Even the animated series didn't have a great take on Penguin.
No, it didn't. He was real generic.
Interestingly, both of the villains from this film, they don't have a good take on.
Yeah. I like their Catwoman costume more than most people do.
Oh, I don't like the Catwoman costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, he's real womanizing, and he objectifies women, but then, to a degree, so does their Batman.
And also, why doesn't Catwoman have an issue with that? Maybe we could confront that if we're dealing with this idea of, like, women empowerment, how men treat women. You're teaming up with a guy that represents, more so than anyone else in this movie, a complete objectification of women and
a
sexual...
means to an end. She doesn't have any... I mean, and they do kind of deal with that because they double-cross each other real fast.
Yeah, but you're not dealing with the actual idea. Like, he is more so than Max Schreck a personification of the idea of someone that just sees women as meat.
No, that's true.
But she doesn't deal with it.
No, that's because...
not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Like, she treats him almost, like, playfully.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost cute that
just to get what she wants out of him, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
and I don't know how much of it is she sees all men the same way, so of course he's acting this way because he's a man and they all do that.
Then do something with that. Have a conversation about, like, okay, wait, do you, like, have Bruce Wayne be like, do you think I act like him? Is that what you see?
Yeah, and if she said yes, I'd be like, okay, it's not that far off. I mean, it's not this, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing between him and Catwoman is more traditional movie. Two attractive people are, of course, attracted to each other and they're in love with each other, kind of a thing.
And I think part of the problem too is that it's almost, expecting you to already know something about that relationship in other versions, right? Where it's like, well, of course, Batman's attracted to this female villain because it's because of the Adam West '60s thing, where, but like, there was more to it there in the '60s show. There was more to it.
Everybody's got enemies. You don't have to be in the office for that. Okay, so we are seeding that list throughout.
Yeah.
But why does he still have... Like, he's on a completely different plan now. Why is he still keeping that plan?
Okay, so I think the deal is he just wants revenge on the society for what happened to him as a child, right? And so he's gonna take... Like parents don't appreciate their children, so he's gonna take away what they don't appreciate. And everything that happens in the interim, maybe, is just wasting time till we get there, and is him letting... Like, I don't know why he kidnapped Shrek, except maybe he thought he could use him to help this happen, and he got lucky that Shrek came up with an idea that kind of puts him in the limelight and gives him access to stuff, I guess. Right? Maybe? But I think ultimately he's just trying out this mayor thing because it's kind of a fun thing to do for a minute. And maybe it's supposed to be almost like that Bane false hope thing where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to make everyone love me. That's not what Bane did. I'm just saying,
but it's not his idea. Shrek does it.
No, I know that. But Shrek does it for... Listen to me. Shrek does it for other reasons. Maybe he's thinking, okay, I'll play along with Shrek and then let everyone think I'm an okay person and let them think that I can save their city, like the Bane thing. And then at the 11th hour, I'm going to steal all their kids.
Right, but my problem is still he's wrong. Everyone accepts him.
But it's improvisation.
He just bit someone's nose so that they bled, and he still has all these campaign supporters. Those girls were just talking to him. No, everyone is accepting him for as weird and freakish as he is. He has no point. He's wrong. But he shouldn't want to get revenge on these people because they're immediately accepting him.
No.
It's only his parents.
Yeah, but it's... No, but
this is why he's not sympathetic at all.
No, I get that. But I'm just trying to explain what I think the movie's doing. I think it is... Because it is literally making everybody just what their motif is. You know, like we did that in that scene just now with Catwoman and the bird and everything. Like it's just
that
he's
was
a bird
60s,
and she's a
dark.
cat, and yeah. Honestly, I think it really is just as superficial as he's hated people for all this time. Nothing they do is going to change his mind, and all what you're saying is doing for him is telling him how stupid people are, and he's getting away with murder, and it's easy. And he doesn't care because all he's ever wanted is revenge, so he's still going to go through with that.
But I feel like the movie is doing a really poor job of making all of its cases. If you're going to argue that this movie has ideas and is about something, it's failing at all of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not... You're never sympathetic for him. He never has a point. The best villains, tend to have a point, and this movie seems to think he has a point and she has a point, but not in this movie.
But I think it's all obligatory. I don't think the movie actually thinks it's saying much of anything. At the end of the day,
I've heard people make the argument.
No, I know, but it's very frustrating because, again, I think on a really superficial level, it's about oppression, and it's about sexism, and it's about people not accepting the things that are different from them, and it's about isolation. But the trappings, the actual motivations, who these characters are, don't matter. They're all just one-dimensional facilitators for not even exploring those ideas, just simply putting them out there, and then the real point of the movie is just look at it.
Wow, she's real dumb. So, I thought this earlier, and I was right. So, in New York, we have one big tree and we have a big lighting ceremony.
Yeah.
We opened with the big tree lighting ceremony. Max Schreck was there.
I know.
Another tree lighting ceremony? Who could possibly go to all of these?
I know. I don't understand that.
And this framing is the worst framing. Framing of Superman BVS makes more sense than this framing.
And you mean the theatrical cut?
Yeah, exactly. Now I remember, this is another thing I remember from childhood, is during this scene, when they're kind of, doing this, I remember being like, but wait, what happened to the other girl?
Yeah.
From the other movie? And my mom being like, well, look, they just mentioned her. Because there's like one line.
Yeah, there's a throwaway line.
But I remember that from childhood.
And that's the thing I really dislike about Vicky riding away with Alfred at the end, because they make you think they'll stay together.
Yeah, looking at 89 and looking at other movies from the decade prior and the decade after, it's really surprising Knox doesn't come back. He seems like a character that sticks around in franchises.
Okay, your line now is, you know how a normal person...
Yeah. None of this dialogue is as memorable as the stuff in the first movie.
No, and that was also always a big issue for me as as a kid. Instinctually, I always thought the script's just not as punchy.
I mean, there's a couple of things that stick around or stuck around. I don't know how much impact this movie continues to have. Like, I don't know moving forward how many people really remember this.
I think
that weren't
tonally
of the
still
generation.
A lot.
Sure. But the awful back and forth they have about kisses and mistletoe, that sticks around. People remember that.
Oh, weird. One thing that we hung on to a lot formulaically from this movie was, with a lot of superhero things, is the two villains, one has to die thing.
Yeah.
And we still occasionally will do that.
She also, here in this scene, seems to have lived a much fuller life than she did 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, she's talking about relationships. I imagine that's not a woman that has a lot of relationships, and probably not since they were a teenage. Like, she doesn't seem like she's meeting a lot of people.
No, she seems kind of invisible.
Yeah. But she's got ideas about people and men and the kind of men she likes to date.
I guess she could just be lying now that she's found herself.
But she's real confident in it.
We haven't talked about the cat powers thing. That's an inevitable thing that has to come up when you talk about this movie.
I always assumed she had powers. Since going back to being a kid.
Yeah, some people still swear up and down, no, she didn't get supernatural abilities.
That is clearly the public opinion, because when you get to Birds of Prey,
she's got cat powers. She's a metahuman with cat powers.
Yeah, it's clearly working off of, okay, we all know that. Not only that, but when they made...
That could have just been a choice.
But not only that, but when they made Catwoman, there's a guy whose name is on that script, or is on that film, who said he wrote a draft of Catwoman that was, and this is back in the 90s, as a sequel or a spin-off or something to this movie.
That's right.
At least Synergy.
It was supposed to be a spin-off for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote a script where she was a cat burglar, and they said she doesn't have powers. Everyone saw Batman Returns. They know she has powers. So he added the powers in, and that's why his name's on the script.
Wow.
Because that was the first draft that gave her powers.
So even if you think the movie doesn't actually give her powers, somebody at least on the studio level thought that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So if we're misreading it, people involved in the film also, or involved with distributing it, also thought that.
That guy's also real salty about the fact that his name is on the final
production
of that movie, because he wrote it in like 95.
Yeah, wow.
Like, that script has nothing, or that movie has nothing to do with his script, but because it was the first draft that gave her powers.
Almost certainly better, no matter what's in it.
Yep.
Almost certainly.
Yep. I mean, even this movie is better than Catwoman. There are a few films.
This scene is one of the hardest things to get through.
Yeah.
Although I love that line. Make a limerick. One has just sprung
This
to
also
mind.
feels really 60s-y.
Oh, okay.
The idea that Bruce Wayne's dating someone goes,
now he's
hey,
got more bat suits in his vault. Do you think it still should
no,
close?
No, that door can close because it's flat. I love these guys. These guys, the actual shirts on hangers. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
No, but the idea that like Bruce Wayne is talking to Alfred and is like, "Hey, can you make an excuse for me?" And then he walks away, and she goes up to him and goes, "Hey, can you make an excuse for me?" And then she walks away. That feels 60s to me.
It's also very Superman 4.
Which I've still never seen.
Oh, wow. There's a scene where, you probably know of the scene, where Superman and he has to pretend like he's sometimes Clark and sometimes Superman in the same scene when people come over for dinner. And, yeah.
I
he
know,
keeps coming up with excuses to leave a room and then come back as Superman. Clark Kent and Superman are supposed to be in the same place, and he just keeps coming up with excuses to leave and come back, and it's kind of clever. It's not shot real well.
I know about the wall fixing vision.
And he somehow rather heats up an oven without being anywhere near it at all.
Where's Harvey Dent? We elected Harvey Dent.
He's another character that feels grounded in comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's real level-headed. He's like, calm down. I love the bit where he goes, I'm working on it.
If everything else in this movie worked and made sense...
Shields don't look as cool.
This is unacceptable. Where'd they get the specs? How do they know how to do this? Like, we get nothing for this. Yeah, those special effects don't look as good as the first one.
No.
This makes no sense.
And I just don't like how it folds out. Like, it doesn't look as cool.
Yeah. But am I wrong? Like, this
no,
is just... It's
don't.
absurd. It doesn't make any sense. Although, I feel like I could probably isolate everything that doesn't make sense in this movie and say, even if everything else in this movie made sense, this makes no sense.
Exactly. Like, it's absurd, sure, so's a lot of the rest of this, but...
I don't know, for some reason this crosses a line for me where I'm like, how do you write this and not think, well, how did they get it?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
And how does he not have something to prevent that from... Like, something more to prevent it?
Yeah.
It just seems like his car doesn't have the kind of security it ought to.
Because you're a cat. I get that line.
The floor.
Yep, that's real bad. And I think we call back to it in Forever. I think he says eat.
And is this supposed to be cute banter because they have chemistry now?
Because they don't, and it isn't.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Ha! I don't know. That was kind of funny. I like her just taking the chair out from under her.
To your point earlier of how much is this movie really trying to say about anything?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that the score brought back that piano riff. That's cool. I like the score a lot. But anyway, and I like how different it is from the first one. That's really impressive. That Elfman was able to separate it so much. I mean, part of it is because he's got such different material to work with the villains that he's going a real sinister, creepy direction with that stuff. But anyway, Selina looks at this girl as everything that's wrong with lawn dart. I kind of like that. with everything that's wrong with women in this day and age and allowing themselves to be objectified, and maybe sort of kind of seeing some of what she was before, just in being a pushover.
Not nearly as funny as Batman stole that guy's pizza.
That's Spider-Man.
That's the same kind of delivery.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, it's so dumb. Why would anyone think that Batman pushed her? He gave him the signal.
Well, to be fair, he also lights people on fire and blows people
no one
up
notices
with
any of those
bombs.
And just like the people that like these movies don't notice those things.
Yeah, you know what the problem is? They have to some degree.
You didn't think he pushed her.
But I was there. But they have to... Okay, here's the thing. You'd think they would notice more of it, especially because Jim Gordon is standing there as he's blowing people up. I mean, he's there, you know?
Yep.
Oh, thanks a lot, Batman. Sure appreciate it. There are all these things you can't do because we have to deal with paperwork and due process and...
I always thought that was really creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, what were we talking about?
You were talking about how Catwoman sees the Ice Princess as...
No, we were past that. There was something else we were just now talking about that I can't... I've lost
about
now,
why would anyone believe that Batman pushed her?
Yeah, okay. So, the reason that that he gives them the signal, and they go with all that is because he murders the guy they can't stop. And so they're already okay with it.
Yeah.
Unless they think it was an accident.
It's a good thing you had that.
Which I guess is possible. And see,
there weren't that many bats. He was just a little bit of bats in the thing.
And see,
this movie's dumb.
Movie doesn't work at all. There's too many bats. But it's all for flavor, right?
Begins has just the right amount of bats.
Well, and as goofy as maybe it is, at least there's an internal logic reason for them being there.
Yeah, which comes right out of year one.
That's weird, because we did that in '89.
Yeah,
the Beauty and the Beast reference. Yeah.
Well, she is called the Ice Princess. I was just being like facetious when I called her the Ice Princess. Oh, we're supposed to do the Tinky Glass thing. That's a bummer. I was gonna.
It's weird that she would trust him enough to drink anything he would give her.
So I have a question. Yes.
Just want to throw that out there.
Again, personifying everything that she seems to see the world as.
Yeah.
Why is she teaming up with him? He's working with Shrek. Shrek is who she hates. She has no reason to believe that he's not, like, on Shrek's side. Why does she go to him?
I think it's just generically Batman gets in villains' ways, and you can help me stop Batman.
Okay.
I guess.
So again, this movie is saying nothing and thinking nothing about the ideas in it.
And I was going to say, as it's trying to use her as maybe at least a loose commentary on it's a man's world, it's also doing really stereotypical things with her.
And all of the women.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't have any better women than any other movie in 1992.
Like when she breaks a nail and all that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing that stuck with me when I was a kid for some reason.
Breaks the nail?
No, just her screaming as the glass comes down.
I kind of like how it looks with her hair out.
Yeah,
and maybe some of that comes from the 90s Jim Ballant costume, but I like Catwoman with the hair out.
Yeah, I do too. And then don't we kind of just lose her until we get toward the end of the movie now? Like don't they kind of use that to just write her out for a while?
I think maybe it's Catwoman. Because they still have to go to the party where they have to re-say the lines that they said to each other before and realize that they're...
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right.
So, after Begins comes out, before Dark Knight, this movie is on television one day, and my friend and I are hanging out, and he's talking about how terrible all of these movies are. They're all so silly. They're not like Begins. Begins is so dark and so serious, and these movies are just like dumb. They're dumb, stupid. Yeah. And this is the scene that is on. It's a big fat guy in a kid's machine. I'm like, yeah, you're right. This movie sucks. Now, I still agree with myself from then, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
This is so cartoony I mean, 89 has this a bit too, but like, this movie is so gross and vulgar and living in darkness.
Yeah.
And it's a cartoon. This is a children's film that's not appropriate for children. Like, how do you put him in the little kitty cart and be like, yep, that's going to be great in our movie where somebody bites somebody's nose off?
And can't you get away with more of that kind of thing if it's just not sold to children? It's just a rated R thing in the first place, and it's just, we're gonna revel in the insanity, and the violence will be stylized, so even though no one is likable and everyone is...
It's Sin City.
Blowing up... Yeah, but Sin City's about more than this.
No, I know it is. Sin City is way smarter than this movie is, but... I mean, everything Greg Miller's done has been smarter than anything Tim Burton's ever done, but...
And, I don't know, it's just... The thing is, it's about the depravity. I mean, like it's... It's very 1984 in that it heightens all of that and exaggerates it to talk about real, actual issues.
Well, and you know what it is, and I
this
think
is just straight up gratuitous.
And this might be a production, or this might be a problem on the production side. They're all liking it too much. They're enjoying being in this world so much. You don't get the sense that this movie is in any way trying to say, like, this isn't how the world should be. Look how scary it is.
No, exactly.
They're having so much fun. They are having so much fun here.
The thing is, it's a cartoon for adults that was also marketed to children. And more to children, probably. I would argue.
I mean, there are no adult meal toys. Unfortunately.
I don't know if I want that. That sounds like a really bad idea.
Okay, well, we won't call it adult meal toys. We'll call it something else. Grown-up meal toys, something.
I think at some point we have to even take the word toy out. I don't like any of that. Yeah, I would be scared to open that bag and find out what's inside. That's all. Yeah. At that point it's okay. But if it's meant for adults and you use the word toy, I'm a little bit concerned about what might be in that bag. That's all I'm saying.
Were you a big like Happy Meal toy guy as a kid?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, here's the thing.
I don't have much of what I had left. I sold a lot of things at garage sales.
So I noticed it somewhere as a teenager. I
kept a lot of my other toys, but Happy Meal toys were expendable.
Yeah. But you always wanted them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you had to have them, and then you're like,
kind of dig.
Yeah, I like this too.
The missile coming out of the rest of the car, it looks really cool.
I want to know what happens to the rest of the car, but...
Interesting that Dark Knight does that too. That it has the part of the car that comes out of the rest of the car.
But, about Happy Meal toys.
Yeah.
And not this movie. But do you ever have, or I had this thing as I started becoming a teenager where, like, I was like, oh, these suck. These are the worst toys. There was no effort. Why would I ever want these? And now that I work at the store that sometimes I get old Happy Meal toys in, I continue to be like, what was the fascination other than free toy? These are all terrible.
Especially if you compare them to what we have now, because they got better.
Have they gotten better?
Yeah, Happy Meal toys now are a lot, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a lot of the time I don't know, they seem to be just produced better. They're just
so many of them were like
they do more and
like a thing with a figure of whatever it's selling, and then you move it and the figure will like go like this.
Yeah.
So many of them.
They'll make some now that I mean, just that the technology's gotten better and cheaper. They make some now that will have like voice boxes where you speak into it and it speaks the thing you say back to you.
That's cool.
Things like that.
The one I always wanted
kids were that seemed like real high tech.
The one I always wanted as a kid never got was the Neuralizer.
Yeah.
But I did later buy a Neuralizer at Universal Studios, and it broke after like a month. Also, I'm not a toy guy. I don't know. Like it was just a thing I always wanted, and I finally had it. And I was like, oh, well...
Okay, what do I do with this?
Well, and it's not as detailed as I would want it to be. Like, there's a set date year. Like, you can't really do stuff with it, even with the more expensive version. I would buy a prop of a Neuralizer. I love the Neuralizer. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's an Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah, good call. But yeah, Jason, they did Mario last month for McDonald's, and Jason has this Mario that... When you turn it on and you pick him up off a table, it does the Mario bounce noise.
That's awesome.
And it just goes...
Well, yeah, because like the Yoshi toy is exactly what I remember Happy Meal's toys being. You just press a button and his tongue goes out.
Yeah, but it's a little bigger than they were, and it seems better made.
Yeah. I don't know. Just a weird thing. Like I was like, oh yeah, Happy Meal toys sucked.
Yeah, but like a lot of them, the paint would chip real bad, and...
They'd break easy.
Yeah, they weren't... they were kind of hollow. But there were some that were really cool. Do you remember the Transformers that...
The Beast Wars ones?
No. The McDonald's food Transformers.
Yes!
That was like a late 80s thing, 87, 88.
Yeah. No, I remember those.
Those were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Chicken McNugget box that turns into a dinosaur, and...
They did, there's a Kamen Rider who has a thing with those. with something like those, and then I think they actually made them in Happy Meal toys.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then those are so popular. They were called foodroids, and they're robots. They would transform into like a food shape.
But yeah, just to reiterate your point from earlier, you're absolutely right that if he's able to get away with all the stuff he's getting away with before, how does this faze people? And I mean, it should, but they should already be like, this guy's terrible.
And on a thematic level, what am I supposed to get from any of this? They all believed in him and liked him.
Lemmings and
yeah.
I think it's just supposed to be people are fickle. They hate you until
not possible.
They think that you're for them or something.
Yeah, I don't know, because like that's the problem with the, because this is the only theme.
You could make it like a town pet thing or something, but
because this is the only theme Tim Burton ever touches on, except for daddy issues, is the outcast.
Yeah.
He's not an outcast. He is immediately accepted. He doesn't have any of those outcasty things.
So the point you're making is as soon as he comes out and people are accepting him, he should think maybe people changed. And then maybe the idea would be as they learn more about him, they don't like
because the problem with your reading
they won't accept him, and then
the problem with your reading
they haven't really changed.
As saying something about people being lemmings is you can't do that and also have him be sympathetic for being hated and shunned by society. Like, these are two kind of ideas that don't go together. And because when they do turn on him, they turn on him for completely legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
It is not anything that is, like, simple prejudice.
Yeah, and I feel like right here, we're still supposed to, like, sympathize with him.
Yeah.
Maybe not root for him because he's a terrible person, but we're still supposed to feel like society turned him into this, and I'm just not buying it.
Yeah. And it's so heightened when he's a kid that he's eating cats. It's like, okay, but that wasn't just, well, he looked weird. He shouldn't be this gross. He should just look weird.
Yeah.
Because that immediately makes his parents worse. Is if he was just born deformed and they throw him away.
I think he's also this gross because he lived in the sewers and...
But he starts eating a cat.
Yeah.
Also, what is with the duck? I've never understood that.
I mean, it's a cool aesthetic.
But why is it not a penguin?
Because it's what was outside. We saw where he got it!
I know, but it's all about penguins. And why would there be a big duck outside of the penguin display?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, so this is somehow in a conclusion of a character arc.
Yeah, this seems like they reaffirmed what he thought, and like he was buying into it.
Yeah. But he was
But he
manipulating
did this
people
to himself.
Yeah.
None of this works.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, see, now he's going back to the plan that he was doing before. It's like they betrayed him, and he was proven right. He wanted to believe, and he was proven right, but that's not what happened.
And it really watches like something changed to the script writing process, and we didn't rewrite the rest of Match, right? It really reads like that '89 problem again.
But it's weird that we thought it had enough to keep having that. At least twice we have that list of him getting the firstborn.
That may be as much rewriting as we did.
Yeah. Also, why is he after Batman? If he's running for mayor and he's not actually doing anything illegal, Batman has no reason to go after him. He's not actually doing anything. What is his beef with Batman?
Well, we talked over some stuff, so I forget what exactly the logic was there, but... You ever jump over to the other stalactite, whatever?
I'm pretty sure that's a perspective thing.
Looks like it's just right next to it.
I know, but I think it's like this. I think it's a perspective thing. Has he made fun of him for letting Vicky in the Batcave yet? Because that's my favorite thing in this movie.
I forget.
He starts at one point. He gives,
no, I know. I just don't remember if that's happened yet.
He's like, yeah, come on, Vicky, right in the Batcave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that already happened.
Which seems ad-libbed.
But I forget. No, I don't think it is.
You don't think so?
No, I think that was a response to that criticism, because a lot of people complained about that.
I didn't know if that was a thing that was complained about at the time, or if that was a
pretty sure it
retroactive
was.
complaint that everyone kind of universally has. What are we saying with that costume?
He's
a sultan. He's a
sultan,
czar.
Yeah.
He views himself as a ruler.
Yep.
You would think we would want to be saying something with the costume. I guess that's. It's just me. Like, I know it's only 92, and a decade takes a couple of years to hit. This looks like an 80s party.
Yeah.
And the building looks 80s.
Yeah, we're still in that mode a little bit.
You know what's a better follow-up to 89 than this movie? Dick Tracy.
Yeah. Well, I would argue a lot of the things that took their cues from it.
The Shadow.
Yeah.
I love The Shadow.
Again, the Flash pilot.
Yeah. Dark Man. This is a thing that happens a lot, and I don't know if it comes from this movie, but like Bruce and Selena at a party, like whispering to each other. We do this in Rises. We do it, and I think the animated series. This happens a lot, and I don't know if that is this movie's influence or if that is just even before this a thing that we did.
I'm not sure either. But it is a motif
There's a storm
we can't
coming,
get away
Mr.
from.
Wayne. Oh, and of course there's the obvious symbolism here that, again, doesn't track with this movie, that everyone else is wearing masks, but they're the ones, but they don't have masks.
I never thought of it.
Yeah. Because this is their masks, these are not who they really are as people, but we don't know who these people are at all, so, like, that's a clever, subtle thing.
Would even pick up on it because that's not at the forefront enough.
Oh, I've always thought that was like the most obvious thing with this scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But because as you say, I don't know who they are even when they have their masks on. I'm just not even thinking about that. Like, yeah, she's spelling it out in dialogue, but yeah, somehow or rather, I never really picked up on that. Maybe this is where I'm starting to check out a little bit when I'm watching this movie.
That's totally. You made it this far before you're checking out.
What pushes it? What puts the final nail in the coffin is him liking her just because she's pretty, and I have a real hard time with that. I mean,
yeah.
Again, as we keep saying, he's out of touch and he's not good at social situations and things, but I kind of thought he saw more in Vicky than just she's a hot chick.
Yeah. So,
and she's so emotionally unstable, and he wasn't on it until now.
Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to be fair, I think maybe it's supposed to be he's seeing a lot of himself in her, and so maybe he thinks that she'll understand him because they're both the same kind of
well, that's always part
touch.
of the thing with Catwoman, I think. But so...
Right, but I mean specifically with the Burton brand of he's not a part of the world. Yeah.
So the mistletoe line that just happened where they realized that that's each other, that's this movie's Devil in the Pale Moonlight thing, right? We're like, that's not a saying. And like, for some reason she said it, and then they say it together, and they realize that they're who each other are. Like, it's really similar, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're the person that killed my parents. Oh, you're the person I've been fighting this whole movie. I don't know.
That's a good point.
This scene is obviously an homage to the scene in Blank Man.
Okay. Sure. Sure, that's what they were thinking when they made this. Wasn't Blank Man after this?
No, Blank Man's after this, and then Blank Man's a scene that's an homage to this.
I was going to say, I don't know.
No, I was potentially being dumb.
What you're talking about right now.
I did nothing but support you and help you. Why are you going after my son? I mean, I ditched you when everyone found out you're a monster, but they found out you were a monster, so, like, that's not me being a bad person.
I'm not any more of a bad person than I was when you grabbed me the first time.
Yeah. Nope, that's not him.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're doing that thing where we're telling the audience what's supposed to have happened, but that's not what we gave you.
Mm. Does he?
Yeah, so let's break this down. He manipulated him how?
Well, he is the one that came up with the idea of doing the mayor thing.
Right.
And the idea was basically just that he would have a mayor that was in his pocket, but that is the beginning and end of the manipulation. And he was going with the idea of being the mayor, and we just saw a scene where he seemed to really be invested in the mayor.
But I don't see how that's
manipulation.
But I don't see how that's exactly manipulation, because he would have... You would both know that he's saying that because he has ulterior motives. Like, that would be kind of an unspoken understanding, I would think.
Well, I mean, he let him down the stairs with the fish and was like, by the way, you're running for mayor. Like, but that's the beginning of that manipulation.
Yeah, but, like, he pulls him off the street. The Penguin has to know that that's him trying to survive, too, right? Like, am I remembering this wrong? Is it part of the idea, like, I'm gonna set you up to be mayor so you won't kill me?
No, maybe? I don't know.
I thought that was in there.
It doesn't make sense to begin with, so... Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
And he pulls out, like, the weapon umbrellas.
Well, no, he says he's gonna take him up to the world and let everyone, like, see him, and they're all gonna love him.
That's right.
And then he does the mayor thing.
Okay, but it's still really clearly, obviously, ulterior motives. That guy doesn't want him to do that, so he gives him a better option. I'm just saying, it's not like they were ever friends. It was always an uneasy alliance. That's different from manipulation, really.
Mm.
And as you say, it's not exactly betrayal, because you can't keep the mayor facade thing going after Batman plays that tape.
You're like, okay, well, you're not going to be mayor. Our alliance has ended. That's not betrayal. Once again, Penguin is terrible at everything he's supposed to be representing.
I like that Batman leaves notes, though.
With an embossed bat symbol.
Yep, that's great.
But everything we're supposed to, or that we're trying to say with Penguin, and I know it's all there because it's all Tim Burton has ever said ever since this movie, none of it works.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense in the movie. This is one of those scenes. I don't know if it's supposed to be silly or not. I think it's hilarious.
That's great.
Thanks to Batman, he's always blaming other people for his own problems. That's really the lesson of this movie.
Now he's gonna kill everybody. See, that's us bringing it all together there, Eric. See, now he's talking about gender equality.
Garage's own sport blown sky high. What is that doing in this movie?
Wait, what?
He just said the sexes are equal with the erogenous zones blown sky high.
I forgot about that, or never noticed that line. Why? Yeah. Wow. You know what didn't occur to me until just now? When we do Violator in Spawn, we're looking at this.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I bet if you go back to one of the Spawn commentaries, I probably have made that observation before and just think right now that it's the first time I've made that observation, but...
Also, when they were gathering up all the children, there was at least one female carny who looked like just a normal, like, you know, basically attractive woman. Why is he going after her? He has someone that lives with him that's a female. I don't understand.
Maybe he's just not personally attracted to carnival people.
Why is he so repressed? I don't get it. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
Again,
it's great.
I think it's supposed to be dramatic. It's not. Penguins are adorable.
No, I think there are a lot of things that are intentionally absurd, and it's, again, kind of being dark, campy Batman. It's hard to reconcile some of those things together, isn't it?
This movie has such weird tonal
shifts
all over them.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I don't want to overthink it, Eric. I feel like it really is just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And so when I said we were thinking more about the franchise nature, when I was agreeing with that article, and the commercialism and merchandising and stuff. Part of the reason I think it's right about that is because I don't know that this is a movie Tim Burton really wanted to make. And
yeah, well, that was always the story I heard, was like he didn't want to come back, and they said, "Well, you can do whatever you want," and then he made this movie.
But with maybe a caveat or two. But anyway, he doesn't come back for forever, and he was already burnt out on these.
But there is a script done under his watch.
Yeah, I know, but he was on the fence about whether or not he was going to come back. I bet the money's good, and he knows he's getting decent work and stuff. Because he's still not Tim Burton yet. He's getting there with these. But I'm just saying that, like, when you listen to him and Michael Keaton talk about this movie, they were obsessed with making it as apart from the first one as possible because they don't like doing the same thing again. And I think that kind of hurt it a little bit because it ultimately doesn't have enough of an identity. Maybe, again, kind of a visual identity as he's finding who he is as a visual artist.
Which is funny that he doesn't like doing the same thing again, because his career.
I know.
But,
I know, it's a real contradiction.
But, I was going somewhere with the
announcer lady is really weird. This computerized announcer lady that, like, seems like Siri put in a person's body.
Also, not unattractive. Why is he so what he is with women if there are women down here with him? Because I always read it as he hasn't seen a woman in, like, 30 years, 33 years.
He's essentially never seen a woman. He was a baby, yeah.
Now, I think we can all agree that the most absurd thing in this movie, probably more absurd than maybe anything in '66, is this.
The idea is what?
The tunnel, the sewer tunnel bat vehicle? Why does he have, like, for some reason, that is too far for me, for Batman planning ahead.
We cannot all agree on that.
We cannot all agree on that?
We cannot all agree on that.
That's so absurd to me that Batman's like, maybe one day I'll need to go through sewer tunnels?
But you're going to call that more absurd than penguins with missiles on their backs that you can control with telepathic headsets?
With the Batman is always prepared, like Batman has things for every occasion.
But the penguins with missiles on their back is on a whole other level. No, you're right that's kind of old school campy Batman, but if Gotham is all connected by sewers, as well as and they're so wide and you can travel in them that well. If your sewers look like this, I buy that because you could use that to get around in. You're assuming that you would only use it to go after a supervillain, and that's all he's doing with it. To be fair, but I could buy that he would build it. Why not? Honestly. It almost makes more sense to use that than the Batmobile. You're not in the middle of everything.
Yeah. If it is actually all connected.
If your sewers are catacombs like that, of course I buy that you'd make that.
It's like the whatever an Angel that was the workaround for how Angel can move around during the day.
Yeah.
It was like, there's just sewers that connect everything.
Yeah. Under LA.
Yeah. Which by the way, LA, I believe, is like Florida, which is right next to the water, which means you can't actually go down that deep. I think.
Yeah,
California
and
is like Florida like that.
Yeah, they don't have basements.
Then yes. What are they doing with sewers?
I couldn't go live there. I mean, they don't have basements where you lived. I'm assuming it's like that in California.
That's what I'm saying. Is if it's like that.
Yeah. I mean, if I went and lived there, I couldn't have my Batcave.
Yeah. Should I feel bad? I don't know. Am I supposed to care? I don't know. This movie, I feel like, has this weird thing where it knows that he's the villain, but it feels like it's on his side sometimes.
Yeah,
or a lot of the times.
Yep. That's kind of what I was getting at earlier. And see, now it's like physical bats versus physical penguins.
See, this is a reasonable amount of bats. Earlier was way too many bats. This is a reasonable amount of bats.
Okay.
I buy that many bats came out of where they came out of. I don't buy that as many bats earlier came out of that one umbrella. Not the zoo. That's where Split lives.
His name is not Split.
I don't remember what the name he gives himself. Is the Beast.
Yeah.
That's where the Beast lives.
Well, no, but he also gets a name that the media gives him at the end.
What is the name?
I can't remember now,
okay.
But the Beast is just one of the personalities. I mean,
I thought that's
the
what they ended up calling him at the end was the Beast. They were like sources close to him saying...
No. They call him something else.
Okay.
They call him something about... Because the question was, how do they know he has multiple personalities?
Mm.
It was something about the multiple personalities. I forget right off.
Okay. Well, regardless, Bruce Willis's superhero name is Unbreakable.
No, it's not. That's not what they're going to call him.
Costume looks so cool with the hair out. If they'd just done the thing where they opened it up at the back,
with
so
part of it
normally
ripped
had hair.
up too.
Yeah. Because I also know you are a cartoon.
But let me ask you this: is it because there are parts of Gotham that make as much or less sense than this? You know what I mean? Like as little or less sense as this movie does. Do you get more of a pass if you're a goofy cartoon, violent though you may be, for adults if you just don't give it to kids? Like, isn't the majority of your issues?
No.
Okay.
The majority of my issues is that this movie... I mean, with a lot of the weird tonal stuff, some of the weird vileness and vulgarness, certainly.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying with that
this
stuff.
movie is still about nothing and pretends to be about things, and people that like it act like it's about things. And that's the crux of my issue with this film is... This is a bad movie. Like, beginning to end, critically...
people are kind of duped by it.
Yeah, I think critically, on any level, this movie makes no sense.
Yeah.
It is incoherent, and I don't like the vibe.
It doesn't have the internal logic to back up its how little sense it makes. But again, 89 has that to a degree as well.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is... Or that's what I was getting to was...
But it doesn't feel mean-spirited like this does.
Yeah, and the tone of it doesn't...
And it's pure escapism. Mm-hmm. You know, where even with the stuff about greed and materialism and stuff, you're not being preached at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels like it's sort of doing that, even though I also don't understand. He doesn't have...
Yeah, it cuts right there.
It cuts...
So that he can do that.
Yeah.
You've never noticed that before?
I just forgot about it.
Okay. Yeah,
I couldn't remember how they did it.
That's always been a thing where I was like, now he's no black around his eyes.
That's not how I would have shot that.
You can shoot it from the back.
Well, or you just cut to mid mask pull. So you cut back to her as she's reacting to it. And you cut back to him, he's already got it so far off that you would have never seen the eyes around it. No, you killed her, which is a lot like firing a person.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things in this movie.
That he just
Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed like Batman?
Why are you wearing a Batman costume? Yeah, so the question is, how literal is this supposed to be?
But she's fine. Like that. This is the thing is, she does seem to be fine. She seems to be right about these lies.
Yeah, he is shooting her at point blank range, and then getting up and coming after him.
It would be if this is her like having. If this is just her talking and like hyping,
yeah,
it'd be real inconvenient if she got shot 3 times and then she died.
Yeah.
Well, this scene wouldn't work at all. Like, no, she has to
and even if she's not right about the 9 lives thing, she's still supernatural. She's still taking bullets.
It'd be great.
And also,
if,
she shouldn't be able to survive this, and we know she does.
It'd be great if they did. Isn't
it? Here's the thing: people think some of the folks that say no, she doesn't have superpowers. I think maybe don't want her to have superpowers because they think that's going too far and that makes it too silly. But
there's no explanation for this.
Yeah, and so but the point I'm trying to make is, isn't it worse if she doesn't? Like, doesn't that make it more absurd?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, any way you slice it, it's
falls out the window,
way out there.
I don't know
how getting bit by cats and how that gives you those abilities, but it just seems like it's worse if there's nothing supernatural.
There's a Tales from the Crypt episode where they find a way to take the 9 lives of a cat and give it to a person, and the twist ending is
weird.
You actually only had 8 lives because the cat had to die to get you those 9 lives. I kind of think that's great. I kind of think that would be funny with Catwoman. It was like, well, no, you miscounted. You didn't count your actual death.
Devito says that was a 4.5-hour makeup job, but they got it down to 3 by the end.
That's amazing, because I have seen things that look more elaborate, or that look less elaborate than that, and they're like, that was an 8-hour makeup job.
He talks about working with real penguins. Christopher Walken says about the penguins, they had their own area on the studio lot with a swimming pool and refrigerated dressing rooms. They were very well taken care of.
Oh, I really wanted that to end with, they were like a clique, and they never let me hang out with them. I didn't like those penguins. Oh, this is so bad. Like, those clearly are not the penguins from earlier.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be tragic. Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Well, no, that too.
Yeah.
But these are clearly not... These are clearly people in penguin suits, and this... I don't think, even if the rest of this movie worked, maybe I'm wrong, even if the rest of this movie worked, I don't think this can be anything but unintentionally funny. I just don't think this can work.
Is it? You always say that. I'm not... I don't know. I've never had an opinion about it, really.
Like,
I just have that from your lens now. Anytime this movie ever comes up, all you talk about is how funny this is, and so I'm just used to hearing you talk about how funny this is. I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
He's not. Maybe this does work if I care about him at all.
I honestly don't think it's funny if like outside of the context of it, if you could like, make any assumptions about it. Like if you had a little bit of context just as to who he was and the whole Outcast thing and stuff. If you had like just a synopsis of this is what this character was supposed to be about, and then you saw that, like that could play real tragic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get what's funny about it. Is it just because he's face down? Like, just what's funny about it?
No, it's a bunch of guys in penguin suits carrying a big fat guy and putting him in the water. I don't know.
The illusion was never broke for me.
Okay.
When you start talking about guys in penguin suits, it never occurred to me that that's how they did that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, now that you say that, of course, but I don't think it looks bad.
Well, it's because every other time in this...
I'm not with you on that. I think it's
because every other time in this movie, it is normal, is real penguins, and they're like this big, and there are these giant penguins that pop up out of nowhere and carry them into the
That's fair. I never thought of it like that.
Cats.
Because it's such an
only
unreal
person
universe. In the first
known
place, you can
cats.
get away with things like that better here than you can in something that's trying to be more realistic.
Yeah, like, I'm sure that would play fine animated. I
I still think it plays fine here.
Okay.
It never would have occurred to me that they were giant penguins. You're right, they are. They would have to be.
Yeah.
But that is actually a place where I have a suspension of disbelief.
Sure.
Yeah. We always have to end these with Alfred in a car. We don't do it in Batman and Robin. That's the first time.
Does Forever end
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. Well, there's that. No, I think it is a deleted scene that didn't actually make it in, and like I said yesterday, I keep thinking that as part of the movie.
One of the things I think is interesting that feels like a dividing line between these two films and Schumacher's two films is these movies end with somebody standing up silhouetted on the roof, and those end with them running on the roof. Like 89 ends with him on the roof looking at the bat signal. This ends with Catwoman on the roof. Yeah. Forever ends with Batman and Robin running across the rooftop backlit, and then
Batman and Robin does it again with backlit.
Yeah. I think that's interesting that it's just, I don't know. It feels like even more of a dividing line between those two.
This is how these end. Yeah. At least this time we don't have to cut as we're going up. We don't go up this far.
Yeah. What else could you need? I just saved the whole city.
I got it. Yeah. Why is the? It's Two-Face. Two-Face is that's.
It gave us a new signal.
That's right before what happens in Batman Forever, and now everything just looks entirely different. That's what it is. Eric, it watches. I know our reads were all over the place. I was just talking this out and trying to. We were just kind of talking this out. It watches like a parody of the first movie, in a lot of ways. And it's almost desperate to be about more than that movie was. Like,
no, and that's part of it. Is I really think this movie wants to be about the things it's not about at all.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. 89 works better as pure escapism, which I think is part of why I still can enjoy it, even though that third act makes no sense, and there are even quite a few things in the middle that don't.
I think it also helps that there was only the one villain. And he is the Joker, and so you can maybe explain some of that as like, well, it's the Joker. Like he's always, maybe he's changing throughout the film, even though the film doesn't actually tell me that. Here, you have these two characters that don't make any sense, and they get more screen time than Batman. There's no mystery. You're not learning anything about Batman like you were in the first film a little bit. I mean, obviously, you've seen that film 400 times, but as a film, you don't know everything about Batman.
There's an immunity.
There's something that you're learning as the film unfolds. There's nothing here. It's an incomprehensible mess, and I don't think 89 is until you start thinking about it.
Yeah, does it?
I don't think this movie makes sense scene to scene, frame to frame.
It just feels that movie feels more confident from a story place, even if it doesn't quite earn that. Like with this, it feels more like a movie made scene by scene, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like it's more
or image to image.
Yeah, exactly. It almost feels like it's more about the people in the moment making it than it is about us watching it.
Yeah, it's almost like Tim Burton made a storyboard of 20 images, and then he's like, okay, today we're shooting this image. Give me some pages that makes this image happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's how we shot the whole movie.
It almost doesn't feel like it's about the finished product. It's almost not a piece.
You're not supposed to look at it as a piece because it doesn't.
It's almost
work
like
at all
it's a piece that's not meant for. Even though it's so commercial, it's almost like it's not meant for mass consumption. It's for the people who made it, and then they can look at these amazing images and go, look at what a good job we did. But or it means something to him as he's doing it, almost more than when he looks at it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just it doesn't come together.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it is.
But there are individual elements I love about it.
I don't know what it is that is more incomprehensible or more unacceptable than than 89.
Yeah,
but it is, or I feel like it is.
I do too.
I don't think it's just the nostalgia and going with 89. Something about 89 works better than this movie. 89 has a lot of the same problems as this movie, but I don't think to the extent that this movie does. Which is the exact opposite of what I said before we started this, but I have now watched it. This movie makes 0 sense. I can track some of 89. There's some plot holes here and there.
Well, and is some of the problem that it doesn't work as a sequel?
I mean,
just because it doesn't feel like it's in the same world in a lot of ways, and...
I mean, as a kid, I never had a problem with that.
I'm not saying 89 is a grounded film, but it's a crime drama. This is not so much that.
That doesn't... I don't think that bothers me. But maybe that's because as a kid, like, it never took me out of it that it was different, so...
Yeah, okay.
As an adult, I can't be like, well, it feels so different, how could anybody... Like, it feels like a completely different movie, like... I never really have... I mean, it obviously feels different, but...
But take yourself out of where you were when you were a kid, just look at it now. Is some of it just the comparison between them? You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't think so, because I hate this movie. Like, just in general, like... I don't think so. And like I said, like, I didn't like 89 a lot for a while, and, like, I can kind of go back and reassess that movie. Like, there's a little bit more there than I give it, at least in how it's done. I don't have that with this movie. I will never go back to this movie and be like, oh, yeah, that does work.
I keep wanting to. And if it was ever going to happen, it would have been this viewing. I mean, I didn't expect to watch, to see this viewing and suddenly go, oh, okay, it all clicks together. But I was wondering if I was wrong about my issues with, like I was wondering if maybe my issues with it are the same as the ones I now have with 89 as I'm looking at it more critically.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of them are, but the difference is it just doesn't bother me there.
Well,
in the way
and
it does
89
here.
kind of falls apart. This movie never gets going.
And some of that still maybe bias from how much nostalgia I have for that movie? Maybe, but this still feels mean-spirited to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. It's weirdly cynical, and you can see some maybe unintended cynicism in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It feels almost intentional here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just...
It kind of just feels like how far can we go with, as you say, the vileness and the gross, and just everyone's up bad. But there were people I liked in that first movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, you know, even if you...
Bruce Wayne's kind of charming in his own way.
Yeah.
You've got Knox. Commissioner Gordon, was he even in this? He must have been in this.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because you remember, I was making the argument that he's walking up next to Batman.
That's right. That's right.
As he's like, thanks a lot, Batman. Like, didn't you just see people get, like, set
like
ablaze?
we make fun of how useless Pat Hingle is, but that's not as much in the first movie. And he seems like a decent person. He seems like a buffoon in this.
Yeah. Again, I mean, this really weirdly, it really is '60s Batman in a world where Batman murders people and people get eviscerated and stuff.
It's what Gotham's doing
you don't
right.
See them get eviscerated. That's Gotham, but set on fire anyway and blown up.
When
with
it works,
dynamite.
when it works, that's what Gotham's doing right. It doesn't work here.
Yeah.
And part of it's because I don't think they know. I think they think this is a deeper and more meaningful piece than it is. I think.
Because once again, dark means sophisticated.
Yeah. And I think they think this is more sophisticated.
We watched the trailer for 89. You want to see the one for this one?
Sure, I was actually thinking about that.
Let's go ahead and do that real quick. And this time we'll make sure that people can rig it up. If you watch it on the DVD that I have, which is that double disc that came out with the big 4-pack, it's this one, the double disc DVD. And you've watched the movie with us, you'll already be seeing it with the special features. But if not, go to special features and go to the theatrical trailer, and then we'll go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't have. I mean, obviously I don't have a recollection because I was 1 when this came out, but like I've seen the 89 trailer. I don't know if I've seen the trailer for this.
Everybody press play right now. Okay, hold on.
Do not press play.
Don't press play. Get it to timestamp 0 first. We should always do that. I didn't do that. And now. Why not? These are fun. I couldn't remember what... Oh, that's right. It uses the score from the first one.
Oh, I have seen this trailer. New villain.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal listening to this music, looking at images from Returns. Just because I know what the scene is I know the score so well. You know what that is? That's Batman driving Vicky to the Batcave.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't put that in the trailer.
I like that they're at least trying to show you how weird this movie is going to be, right? I mean, it looks just weird.
Right, but here's the thing. Out of context, I feel like you assume that any of these scenes are going to make sense when you go see the movie, and none of them do.
Yeah, sure.
This isn't a bad trailer. Like, this looks like a movie I'd go see.
Was that dialogue in the movie?
I don't think so. Let us see the movie. What do you... Give us everything.
That's a thing we don't do as much anymore. Where you have a narrator telling us everything that's going to happen in the movie.
Well, that's...
We do give away too much in trailers. I'm not saying we don't have trailers that don't tell us everything in the movie, but...
I believe that's almost solely because of the Inner World joke. Like, I feel like that joke got so big that, like, I guess we're not doing that anymore.
YouTube ruined that, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
and honest trailers, too. Like, I bet you'll never see it again.
And we've just switched it for different trailer tropes that aren't made fun of as universally yet.
Yeah, because what we've done is we've taken that out and we've put text in instead.
Yep, that's all we've done.
We did text, too, at this time, sometimes instead, but now that's solely what we're doing. And then that's the bell toll as the Batwing is dropping. They didn't
also,
put the
we used
there.
all of our Batman footage in this trailer.
Yes, that's true.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I forgot they did. There's a poster for that where it's the
snow.
Where it's the '89 thing, but it's the snow is filling it in instead of the yellow. Yeah,
I wonder anybody who wasn't who didn't know yet what villains they were using, if they didn't look at that and wonder if Mr. Freeze was going to be in that movie.
Probably not, because I don't think the animated series has done him yet, and he's a more minor villain before that. I mean, I know he's in the 60s show, but I don't think he's a super well-known villain.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you knew Batman at all, you might have thought that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is that same year, but you would have...
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what month that episode came out, so anyway. Well, everybody, thanks as always for watching. We sure appreciate it. We will see you again tomorrow, and I think Phantasm is next.
Yeah, because famously, Siskel and Ebert hated this movie.
Right.
And then
Phantasm came out shortly afterwards.
And they didn't see it, and the following year they did a review. We're like, we should have reviewed this last year because this was the good Batman movie last year.
Why aren't they putting these out?
Yeah.
And Ebert was always talking about how the psychology of Batman is really fascinating, and he should be a great character on film. And he's not against seeing more of these superhero things if they take the interesting characters and make them interesting. He's like, where is the good Batman? And of course, you know, he loved Begins and he loved Dark Knight.
I guess we keep doing the symbol thing, right? Because Forever is sold with the bat symbol with the question mark.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
And then we do the frozen bat symbol.
And we also do the bat symbol with the Robin Nightwing symbol.
Which looks kind of cool.
It's alright.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I associate it with a movie that's not good.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I guess that's really what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, well, folks, thanks for watching, and once again, we will see you tomorrow with Mask of the Phantasm. Leave your comments. Let us know when I know that this is one of those divisive movies, so let us know what you think about this film, and in the meantime, we will see you soon. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.